Hi everyone and welcome back to Flirt. What do you call a woman with a penis? Her name. Get it? Trans rights. But in all seriousness, this week I'm going to be talking about Leelah Alcorn and the outcry of the trans community from her death, because it's been really hitting the news outlets in the past couple weeks. So if for whatever reason you haven't been paying attention to the media outlets, Leelah Alcorn is a 17-year-old transgender woman who committed suicide the day after Christmas. I think what makes this case more interesting is the fact that Leelah was so young, and also the fact that the day after she died, a suicide note appeared on her Tumblr page, which was basically talking about the biggest reason why. A lot of it revolved around the fact that her parents were unaccepting of her gender. A quote from Leelah's Tumblr page says, "The only way I will rest in peace is if one day transgender people aren't treated the way that I was. They're treated like humans with valid feelings and rights." Leelah goes on to talk about her death needs to mean something, and that we need to fix society. Even after Leelah's death, her parents still don't accept her gender at all. Leelah's parents have come out and talked about how Leelah did talk about the fact that she thought she was transgender, but that they told her that they were unsupportive of it. They still now use male pronouns, and they will even openly admit that they did not support that identity. But for anybody who feels like this is something we need to put upon the parents, it's true, but we can't be constantly attacking Leelah's parents, because we're not going to get anywhere by just simply attacking them. Karma is going to get its justice, and Leelah is going to get her justice. And I think Leelah, more importantly, wanted us to change the world and not just her parents. There's a petition going around right now called Leelah's Law, which essentially bans transgender conversion therapy, and this was started by the Transgender Human Rights Institution, and it already has over 200,000 signatures on it. If you're not familiar with conversion therapy, you probably would more commonly hear it when it comes to gays, because the conversion therapy, basically what it does is scares the individual into going back into the closet. But it's usually more hardcore radical Christians who believe that this conversion therapy can really work, and for transgender people, it's basically scaring them into believing that they are not the gender that they actually are. And I think just in the past 5 years, there's been a lot of more transgender action going on in the LGBT community. I guess on a personal level, I can't really understand what the transgender community goes through, but I know I have heard a lot of stories from my transgender friends, and I know that it is an extremely rough life to live, because so many people still have misconceptions about it and are still very hateful towards the identities of transgender people. But I can tell you right now, if one of my friends, transgender, not transgender, if anyone felt like because of their identity that no one would accept them and no one would love them, and that they felt like they needed to take extreme measures like this to feel like their voice was getting heard, like that alone breaks my heart. I think it's really sad that it takes a death of somebody, regardless of who they are, to have an outcry in any sort of community or with any sort of social issue. We are just an extremely judgmental society, and I think that it's time for a change, and it's time for us to start embracing other people's identities. It's 2015. We are getting into a completely different era almost, and it's about time that children stop feeling like they can't just be themselves because somebody is going to judge them, especially people that are supposed to be their loved ones. And as an identified lesbian even, I could probably safely say that if my girlfriend were to come to me and say one day, you know, I don't feel right in my body. I feel like I really, really need to do this transition process, and I really feel like I'm actually a boy. I can't say that I would just break up with her because of it. I would be 100% supportive, and I would be there every step throughout the transition and continue loving her, because love goes deeper than gender. And if someday one of my kids comes up to me and tells me that they feel like they are trapped in the wrong body and that they need to go through a transition to be happier, even if they're younger, I'm going to let them embrace that identity, and I'm going to help them throughout the entire process. And when they get old enough, help them go through a transition, change their name, do whatever I need to do, because we should be focused on other people's happiness. I can't change who I am and who I was born to be, and it's the same for every other person on this earth. Gay, straight, transgender, doesn't matter. Leelah was taken way too soon from this world. Educating yourself is very important when it comes to just about every walk of life. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and also don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. And I will see you guys next Tuesday. Have a great rest of the week, you guys. And Leelah, if you can somehow hear this, see this, whatever, your death does mean something, and you are making a difference. And I hope you rest in peace, baby girl.